So tell me your story about how community action helped you.
You know, on the very first meeting when I met my staff for the first time, I stood before them and I told them, I am a recipient of community action services. And they asked me, Mr. Coleman, what are you talking about? Well, I told them when I was 24 years old and I just graduated from college and I was just getting started. I did not have all of the necessary fundings to pay my rent. And I needed the help. I needed the help for my energy bill. I needed the help for my rent payment. And I knew I didn't have anybody else to turn to. And as embarrassed as I was to come in here and ask for services, the staff that greeted me were so kind and they were so gracious. And I never forgot that. And so when I stood before my staff and said, I received those services too. And so I know what it feels like to come into an agency like this and ask for help. But I am now the leader of the same agency. And it's going to be our job to make sure that people who come in here feel the same way that I did when I received those services.
Well, we already knew you were the right man for the job, but why do you think that position of you accessing the actual services kind of reflects how people are feeling about you helping them?
I model myself as a servant leader, but how can anybody understand the complexities of life if you haven't gone through it? And so many leaders are so far removed from the issues that they don't really connect to where they are. And so I believe that I was benefited from having to struggle so that I can know how to lead. And I believe that helps us in how we understand our clients, how we serve our clients, and how we plan for the future.
So tell us about a story recently that shows how you've impacted the community.
There was, that's a great question, by the way. There was a family who, they had a son who is about 8 years old, and he was struck in a very bad car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down. And the family now had to find a way to reconstruct their lives. And we were given some funding with a special program, a transportation program to help families in need. And we were able to procure a handicap accessible van. And we selected this family to receive a handicap accessible van from the agency, and also provided them with case management. And we brought them into the agency and presented them with this van. And the child looked at me and gave me a hug and said, now I can go to the park, because he was not able to go to the park because his handicap, his van was not handicap accessible. And so we were blessed with the opportunity to gift this van to help not only the grandparents, but also the mother, who is now going to be responsible for taking care of this 8-year-old.
Well, what was that feeling like, seeing his face and hearing his reaction to the help you guys provided?
It was life-changing. It was life-changing. Like, this was one of those moments that we did it right, and that we picked the right family, and that the family that received these services was going to be blessed and want to benefit from this gift for years to come.